during the Eid holiday. Well, Mushtaq Rahim is a political analyst, joins us now from the Afghan capital, Kabul. Good to have you with us. So the resumption in Taliban attacks, what does it say about the prospects for a political settlement?
Well, it was expected, the escalation, because over the course of the day's ceasefire, we saw that many of their foot soldiers came out to the cities, and they showed a lot of enticement, and they demanded the peace and the peaceful settlement of the ongoing conflict. So they had to retaliate with significant military operations to really wash off all the expectations that were generated by ceasefire. But in the meantime, the Afghan government has been making every effort to reach a peaceful settlement and make the Taliban come to negotiation table. But more than that, the Afghan public has intensified its soft pressure, as we call it, through different demonstrations, the social media activism. People have been coming together. This group that has walked 700 kilometers from Helmand province to Kabul, all this coming together, there's a lot of soft pressure being created over the Taliban. And this gives us a sense that there has to be some sort of actions taken vis-a-vis the peace process. Otherwise, the Taliban may lose the public support. And in the meantime, the Afghan government is talking to regional powers in the country. Well, basically they have had a number of demands, which most of them were responded back by the Afghan government in 28 February's Kabul process meeting, and in afterwards meetings and public appearances that the president had. Now, the only bone of contention between the two sides is the withdrawal of the international forces from Afghanistan, where the Taliban wants that they want to speak to the Americans upon the withdrawal schedule, while Afghan government has been saying that, well, once we start the negotiation, that can be on the top of the agenda as part of the discussion. So this is the only part that needs to be ironed out before the negotiation can proceed. So that's one of the issues.
All right, we're supposed to have parliamentary elections coming up. Do you think the country is going to be ready for them in October?
Well, as far as the preparation for parliamentary election is concerned, we know that there has been up to 6.7 million people's registration, voter registration, and a large number of people, nearly 5,000 people, have enlisted themselves as the candidates for the upcoming elections. But there are certain number of challenges that's going to really create hurdles in front of smooth transition of the parliament from the current parliament to a new parliament, which is already gone beyond its legitimate timeline, which is 5 years of time, but they have been in the office for 8 years now. So there are certain number of challenges, including the security, which is the biggest threat to the election process. Secondly, there are internal rifts among the commissioners within the election commission, and then there are concerns among the candidates in regard to fraud in the upcoming election, because this time the usual voter registration ID cards are not being used. Rather, the national ID cards are marked for the voting, where a lot of people have raised concerns that there are so many fake ID cards being used as part of registration process, and those could be used for voting as well. So many challenges that are emerging in front of elections, but the Afghan government is committed to proceed ahead with election, because the elections are already overdue by 3 years, and any delay will certainly impact the upcoming presidential election, which has to take place in spring of 2019.
All right, good to get your thoughts on that one. Plenty more still